Okay, so we have I'll call it an interesting piece of news. I'm a little confused by this because I was reading an article and it was a film critic in Japan talking about Netflix's rise in Japan. And I'm confused because I don't know, and you could please help me out here, Tristan, because maybe you have a better grasp of of what he said than I do. He seemed to be very critical about it, but then also was very positive because a lot of what he said seemed very critical and very negative against Netflix. At least because Netflix is not a Japanese owned company, right?
Right.
But then he was saying talking about how the animators get paid more. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, through a Netflix anime, and I'm like, wait, so that's good? Like, are you saying that they shouldn't be paid more? Like, it was a very strange thing. So can you, before I list some quotes, can you tell me what you thought? And you can also list some quotes as well to support what you. Yeah. Can you tell me what you got from what he said? Because I'm a little confused here.
Um, I mean, it kind of felt from me that he was going off of the fact that a lot of animators in Japan have problems with getting their work out there, and that
Hmm.
sometimes it's not exactly like the profession that people like. Yeah, I'm gonna go do this, and they're all gonna
Right.
like pat you on the back and be like, yeah, you do it. They'd be like, well, you want to think about that? And it's like, no, I have this vision and I want to do it. And they can, but unless you have some form of backing to distribute it, it gets very difficult. And so he was trying to say that a company like Netflix picking up animated series would be good for them, but how you put it as well, it's not a Japanese company, and he didn't seem crazy about how he didn't want a non-Japanese company to be the one that's helping out Japanese animators. So
Yeah, when you say he wasn't that enthused, I'm going to say the exact quote that makes me think he might not be a big fan of the fact that it's not a. Yes, he said that. He said it would look like an invasion of the former American. Oh God, we're Americans, Tristan. An invasion of the former American military. Because he's saying that he thinks that Netflix it will be a full blown war that'll start in the media world in Japan. Now, again, I know that he's an artist, right? He being a film critic, he's an artist, and as artists, right? Me being an artist, and I know you as well in some
I love
ways.
hyperbole, but
Yeah, but like
no,
no. And it's
no,
not even about the fact that it's like, I'm sure some people online will say, oh, so it's the problem is that Americans are aggressors? No, that's not the problem at all. It's just the issue of comparing a media company to
yeah,
invading Japan. It's like, because I look at it like this, right? If, no, because think of it like this, Tristan, right?
yeah,
If it's an invasion, then why does Japan have the choice to just not watch Netflix? Like
right,
Japan is the choice, right? A Japanese company can start up because he was saying how before I even finished that thought, he was saying how in France they banned Netflix and that's good. And it's funny because I was reading some comments under this article and there was a French person, or this person claiming to be French, who was just like from France, who was just like, but
no,
that didn't actually happen. So I look at it as look, if they want to, and they I'm referring to like higher up executives who may agree with him in Japan, if they want to, or business investors, if they want to invest in something like Netflix, but Japan exclusive, and I'm sure that does exist, but if it's not as big as Netflix, that's not Netflix's fault if people are actually
yeah,
watching Netflix of Japan. Like, how is that Netflix's fault? Like, why should Netflix be like, well, I mean, we have to pull out because there are some people that don't like it. It's like, well, clearly enough people like it to support it because if Netflix wasn't making money in Japan, they wouldn't be in Japan,
right,
right? And clearly Netflix is making money when it comes to Japanese anime. Although it's funny because I have to admit, we look at it from an American perspective. Like, oh, Netflix is putting money to be part of the production committee, and that means that we're not getting shows. I mean, we just mentioned it last week talking about Little Witch Academia, right? Oh, we're
mhm,
not getting shows on a weekly basis. We're getting them bulked in. That sucks. But what's funny is we're not focusing, and I think that's why I wanted to look at this, because even though his comments were a little awkward, still, we don't really look at it from the Japanese perspective. We look at a lot of things from the Japanese perspective. We don't look at this, like how the anime is being funded from the Japanese side of things. And I think the reason why he's a little concerned is because right now Netflix and even other companies, they're part of production committees. Anime, if anyone doesn't know, costs a lot of money to make. I mean, one anime episode can be $50K. So what you do is you get 5 companies to come in, give $10K each, and then they are all part of the same production committee. And what ends up happening is, and I'm just hypothetical, right? The 10K thing and the 50K thing. So what ends up happening is you end up having one company being considered the company that you would go to if you wanted to license this anime. And then if it's an American company coming in, normally they're there because they want rights to dub it or rights to air it. So currently, Adult Swim, or Cartoon Network, is actually on the production committee for Fooly Cooly, for the new Fooly Cooly season. So I wonder where Fooly Cooly is going to air, right?
Right. Yeah.
Funimation was on the production committee for Dimension W. Guess who got to dub Dimension W? I mean, heck, I believe they simul-dubbed it. Just like Space Dandy.
Space Dandy.
Yeah.
Right.
So, this is not new for companies to do this. So Netflix being on the production committee isn't new, but I think he's worried about, or maybe he's already seen this happen, Netflix become the production committee. So now other Japanese companies aren't getting into that production committee cash flow. So it's, yes, Netflix is putting in the $50K per episode, which is a lot, but they're also reaping all of the profits.
Right.
So I think that's something he's worried about. But again, the issue becomes, not the issue. The positive becomes, if animators are being paid more, because right now they're being paid terribly. I mean, we're talking about this a little bit later in a different article, but there's a Kickstarter type project out there, a crowdfunding project to help animators, because they're not being, animators aren't being funded, they aren't being paid well. So, to the point where, they're either not being paid well or the animation is being, sourced to Korea. So, outsourced. So you sit there and you're like, wait, animators are being paid more. That doesn't seem like it's a problem. Yes, it's a problem, obviously, to the Japanese market. If they're like, no, but we're not being paid properly, then start up your own streaming service. That's what I would say. Because to say that it's like Americans invading, it's like, guys, you have a choice. No one's dying, right? I know one could argue socioeconomically it can hurt them, but no one is being shot in the face by Netflix. People in military Netflix gear with Netflix logos on. No, because when you say, like, we're being invaded by an army, it's like, ooh, man, that's rough.
I think he's just going for shock value for the article.
Yeah,
sake.
Well, for the original article. The original article's sake. Yeah, probably. But, overall, I mean, we'll have to see what happens with it, because honestly, I think Netflix, I can see why he'd say this, right? Like, oh no, Netflix will never pull out. Honestly, I think they'll pull out eventually. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I don't know their numbers for anime, and I don't think we really have access to those because, it's all behind, their wall of streaming and everything. But I don't really see, if they're putting in $50K an episode, and I'm not saying they're doing it now, but if they do it eventually, and they become the production committee, that is a lot of money that, unless they can end up selling, because that's the thing, right? Streaming can make money, yes, but you have ads on your streaming website. When it comes to making money, you have DVDs that you sell. Netflix is not selling those. Are you dealing with a cat right now, Tristan? On the video podcast, I want to know if he's dealing with a cat. Because if he is, put that cat on camera. We need to be popular on the internet, Tristan. If it's a cat, show him on camera.
No, not currently.
Damn. I was hoping it was a cat. I want our views to skyrocket. And if it's Matt, but what about the people listening on the podcast? Hear it meow, Tristan, make it meow. But anyway,
maybe next time.
Maybe next time, right? We'll do it for Sweeps Week. But anyway, but back to the topic at hand. Still, I don't know about you, man, but like, I know we don't watch a ton of anime. We're also not new to anime, but like, I think you've even said it in the past. I don't know if it was on the show or just in general. You don't consider, even after all the money Netflix has put into, streaming anime and picking up licenses, you don't consider them an anime streaming website.
Yeah, because I
And
mean,
yeah,
they're opening up to it, and they've got a few series on there,
mm,
but I guess I would personally have to take a look through the library again because it's probably gotten bigger since the last time. I've like, oh, let me see what they have.
yeah.
Like yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's the thing. I would argue that it definitely has gotten bigger, right? But
right,
even with that, there's still like, I think that they're gonna realize that like they can only make money off of it if they're going into it and trying very, and I mean very hard, to just trying to only pay the licensors to put it on there and not try to get their own exclusive anime, because it makes sense with the Marvel shows, it makes sense with a lot of other programs to try to get your exclusive version of it. But when it comes to anime, especially anime fans, I've said this before, releasing it in bulks, not having it on DVD physically, potentially never having the chance to have it on DVD. I
right,
really don't think,
it hurts.
potentially, yeah. Also, Little Witch Academia thankfully has a dub, but some others don't.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I don't think it's going to be. I don't know if they're going to be in this for the long run. I'm not saying they're going to completely drop all anime, right? I don't think that'll
right.
happen. But I don't think that they will keep on trying to put all this money and be on production committees, because I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're making so much money off of anime. But I don't know. I think that the way this guy speaks, yes, I can understand where he's coming from, especially again from the other side of things, from the Japanese side of things. But I highly doubt that Netflix will have like, Netflix anime. You can only get
Right.
this anime on Netflix, dubbed by Netflix, produced by Netflix. Japanese TV channels will have to pay Netflix to put their anime on television. Like I don't see it.
Netflix, Netflix, buy Netflix.
Yeah, I don't. I just don't see it. That's just me. I don't know.